Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to see why the RAG application fails in production. So you might have seen a lot of videos on building the RAG application. So what happens is that the RAG application works very good in the non-production or whenever you are working on a POC. But what happens when you move the RAG application to the production and when the actual user starts using it, you start seeing the problems. And in most of the cases, the RAG application fails in production. So based on my experiences, I have seen a lot of RAG application that was working very good in the non-production, but they started failing in production. Now, in today's video, we are going to understand the reason behind the RAG application failure in production. We are going to understand what are the challenges the RAG application faces when the actual user starts using the application. So let's straight jump onto it and let's understand and deep dive into each challenge. So the first challenge that we have is a poor retrieval quality. So if you are not aware about the RAG application, please go ahead and check out my playlist. I have covered the basic RAG, Agentic RAG, then also we have built end-to-end projects on RAG application. You will find the playlist link in the description below. Please go ahead and check out that. So RAG is Retrieval-Augmented Generation. And so the first word itself is a retrieval. And if the retrieval quality itself is not good, obviously in the generation part, so what you do is you retrieve the content, you augment that, you pass that content to the large language model, meaning you pass that context into the prompt, which is called as augmentation, and then the LLM generates the response. But if you are feeding the wrong information to the LLM, obviously it will not generate the correct response. So this is a major challenge that the industries face, the poor retrieval quality. So let's understand what exactly it is. So poor retrieval quality meaning the irrelevant or missing context that is retrieved. So whatever question that user is asking, if the content that is retrieved out of the vector database, if it is not relevant to that query, which will lead to the poor retrieval quality. Then weak embeddings or poor indexing. So the embedding and the indexing are the core part of the RAG application. So if your embedding itself is poor, you have not used the right models in order to embed the data, if you have not used the right chunking strategy, then obviously your embeddings will be poor. And if you are not doing the data indexing properly, again, you will face issues while retrieving the data as well. So that again leads to the poor retrieval quality. Then we have no re-ranking or filtering. So ranking and filtering is again a very important steps while building the RAG application, and I'll explain this with the help of simple example. So let's understand a user is asking this particular question. What are the written policies for defective products? Very simple question. Now you are based on this user question, you are checking into the vector store. What are the chunks that are related to this, right? So you have retrieved these top 4 queries, out of which 3 queries are not related to the user question, but the fourth query is, and this is the similarity score. So you can see it is giving higher similarity score, but you have not done the ranking properly. So if you see, ideally this result should come to the top. So now you are passing these 4 retrieval context to the LLM. Now LLM may give higher priority to the initial context, the initial queries that is extracted, initial result that is extracted out of the vector store, which may lead to generate the incorrect response by the LLM. So that's how LLM fails to generate the response. So let's understand why it happens. So as we have seen, irrelevant chunks. So whenever the retrieval is done, the irrelevant chunks have been extracted. Weak or the poor embedding, we have already seen that. No metadata filtering if you are not adding filtering. So in this case, let's see if you have added a filters, right? After retrieval, you can apply some filter that, okay, based on the user query, these particular words should be available. Some keyword based searching you can do, and you can filter the record. So in that case, your couple of initial requests, initial query results may be wiped out in the filtering itself, and you are passing a accurate data to the large language model. So that's how your filtering can improve your quality. Then outdated data if it is available in the documents, which is again the poor retrieval quality. How you can improve this? So for improvisation, you will have to use a high quality embeddings. Make sure if you are using a open source embeddings, then most of the times I have seen in the production, open source embedding starts to fail because they are not that capable of handling the large data sets, and again the chunking matters a lot. So the embedding model, whenever you are choosing it, make sure that you are wisely choosing the embedding model. Then the metadata filters, you are not adding it, so you'll have to add the metadata filter so that you can improve the quality. You can implement the re-ranking. So once the results are generated, you should re-rank those results. Then instead of only relying on a single searching, vector searching. You can use hybrid search like vector semantic search plus the keyword search, which will give you better results. And I have tried these approaches in the production and they works really good. With this way, you can definitely improve your performance. You can definitely improve your model accuracy. And also you should keep your data clean and up to date. So that's the first challenge that we have seen. Let's move to the next challenge. So the next challenge we have is the ambiguous and the complex queries. Obviously, because when you build the model, what happens is that you test that model in your lower environment, and what happens, you know how to talk to the large language models, you know how to ask the questions. So that comes naturally inside you whenever you are building the application. But the end user who is going to use this particular application in production, they doesn't know how to talk to the LLM. What is the right way? What should be your tone? You should frame your question. The user is not aware about that, and what happens, which leads to multi-intent questions. So if you see this example where user is asking the return policy defective details, return policy for defective products, but that is during the sales, and that also is asking another question, how much time it will take to refund. So this is a multi-intent, meaning here you have policy related information, time related information, and refund information, which is combined in one question. So in this case, first of all, the query is too long and convoluted, which creates ambiguity for the model, and because of which creates ambiguity while retrieving the data, and also which lacks structure and context. So whenever you are passing this query for the retrieval, right, obviously the retrieval will not be of that quality, and which is going to lead the poor LLM output, because in this case LLM will only generate the response, the generic response, like here it has generated the item can be returned within 30 days of delivery, which is not correct or incomplete response. And why it happens, we have already seen that, because the user is not aware about it, how to ask the questions. And this is very common in production. Your end user can ask, there are n possibility the user can ask one questions in the multiple ways, right? So first of all, you will have to train the user with some examples or templates so that user can ask proper questions. You should break complex queries into subqueries. If you think that, okay, the input query is too big, you should break that particular user query into multiple subqueries, and then you should do the retrieval operation. Then you can use a intent detection and query rewriting. First you understand what's the user intent is, and you can rewrite the query. You can use LLM in order to rewrite this query. So this query first will go to the LLM. Your LLM will rewrite this particular query, and then it will pass to the vector store. So that way you can improve the performance. You can summarize the long queries before retrieval. Let's say if the query is too big, again you can use LLM in order to summarize it, and then you can pass to the vector store. You can capture a missing context or clarifying questions. Now, this you can achieve by adding a feedback loop. For example, let's say the LLM has generated the output. You can pass that generated output back to the LLM. LLM in this case will decide whether the output that is generated by the model and the input query, user query, whether these two are making sense or not. If not, you should do a redo activity. So the feedback loop will again uh, refine that particular user query based on the user intent, and then you hit to the vector store and retrieve the latest data as per the new query, and then you pass that to the LLM and see whether LLM is generating the new response or not. So that's how you can use a feedback mechanism in order, or you can request the LLM to ask the clarifying question if the content is not given as per the user. So as per the user question. So that's how you can deal with these ambiguous and complex queries in production. Moving to the next is the data quality issue. Again, so in the non-production, you usually build the model with a small amount of data, but the moment you switch to the production, you can see the increase in the data sizes. And again, you may have multiple data sources like the Excel, PDF, Word, or the databases to ingest the data. First of all, you need to make sure that while ingesting, you should remove the noise or the incomplete data out of that particular data set. Then the next thing comes is the indexing. You should make sure that your indexing quality is good. So whatever clustering that the indexing does for the similar vectors, it should do that properly, so that whenever user is asking any question, you directly jump to that particular index and retrieve the data. Then the retrieval, because of the data quality issue, again your retrieval is going to be impacted, and then obviously the output that is generated by the LLM is going to be poor. So in order to deal with this, what you can do is you can first of all focus on cleaning the data. So whenever you are ingesting new data into the production application, you should make sure that you have cleaned that data properly. Then you ensure that the consistent formats and structure is maintained. So what happens is that the format that you have used while testing the model in non-production and the format that you are ingesting in the production, if it is different, right, there are high chances your RAG operations will start failing. Then extract the text accurately, better OCR and parsing. Whenever you are doing the text extraction, so out of these scan PDFs, you are using OCR technique in order to extract the text. Outdated documents or Excel, so you are using text extraction libraries out of the PDFs and whatnot, right? So you should make sure that the retrieval quality is good, the extraction quality is good. Then add the metadata and quality checks. You can add some metadata references so that the model knows from where that particular data is read, and some other information that the model is already aware of. Then you should keep up to date. Then you should keep the data up to date and the trustworthy. If you are feeding garbage, the model is going to generate the garbage. So it will be like garbage in, garbage out. But if you provide a good quality data, obviously your LLM will generate the good response. Let's move to the next one. So the next challenge is chunking and segmentation problem. Again, chunking is a very important steps in the RAG operation. Let's take an example. You have this particular document. Now, this is one paragraph which is related to the product return, where you have mentioned the information related to the product return. Then you also mentioned that, okay, what is the refund window that is available, and also you should not unpack the also you should make sure that the item is unused and is in original condition with all the tags. You should not remove the tags from the item. In the poor chunking result, what happens that your chunk 1, chunk 2 and chunk 3, they are not related to each other. These are individual chunks. So chunk 1 and chunk 2, there is no relation between these two. If your chunking is like this, right, obviously your LLM will start filling. What you should do is you should use semantic chunking. You should use the overlapping, chunk overlapping, so that the some last context from the first chunk is added as part of the next chunk, so that your chunks are related to each other. Chunks are sharing some similar context between them, and that way it becomes easy for the indexing to index the data, and as well as it becomes easy for the LLM to generate the response. So that's what we have also mentioned, that use semantic chunking. If you are directly using the chunking based on the uh, length, particular uh, token length, then it is not helpful. You should use semantic chunking. You should keep chunks of the right size. Whenever you are doing the chunking, you make sure that you are using padding so that all the chunkings are of proper sizes. Add the overlap between the chunks, that's what we have seen, and respect natural boundaries. Make sure that whenever you are chunking, follow the natural boundaries. Let's say if the sentence is ending in this particular place, you use that. Don't make the chunking like this. At this particular part you have chunked the data, then at this particular part you have chunked the data. Don't do that. Whenever you are doing the chunking, you make sure that you are selecting a proper sentences or proper paragraph in one chunk. Then you will see that the RAG operation starts generating the proper responses in the production. Moving to the next is the hallucination and ungrounded answers. So this is a common problem in the RAG applications as well, because if your retrieval is not good, obviously your LLM will start hallucinating. Everything is depend on the context that you are retrieving. So this can be easily tackled by improving your retrieval quality. And in the first step itself, I mentioned the retrieval quality matters a lot in RAG operation. So how you can improve it? Again, you can increase the retrieval quality. We have already discussed how you can improve that. You can provide more relevant context. You can add LLM so that LLM can think and identify the intent of the user, and then add some additional context while passing it to the large language model to generate the response. So that's how you can do it. That's how you can improve the performance. That's how you can reduce the hallucination. You can use grounding and verification techniques. You should add some grounding rules so that the model starts behaving, start generating the grounding response. And again, you can add citations, sources, references, so that the model knows that, okay, this particular information is extracted from which source. And that's how the LLM, instead of hallucination, it can start generating the proper responses. Then the next challenge that we have is the latency and performance issue. And again, this is a major concern in the production application, because in non-production, let's say if you are limited users are testing the application, which works very good. But if when it goes to the production, and if your hundreds and thousands of users starts using the application, you start seeing that the latency issues, because for each query there is a lot of parameters that involve. Let's say if the user is asking the question, first time goes into the retrieval, then it goes into the re-ranking, LLM generation, and then the total response generation. So that's the total time, right? So this is again not the actual time. In reality, the times, uh, if you have a less data set, then the time remains in milliseconds. But yeah, at the end, right, it is a sequential operation, and that's where it takes a little bit time to retrieve the uh, response, and that's where the latency starts. That's where you start facing the latency issue. And how you can handle that, you can choose the vector database which has a low latency issue, which supports the faster retrieval. You can choose such databases. Then also you can compress the context and remove unnecessary data. Whenever you are embedding the data, you make sure that you are compressing that context, you are removing the unnecessary data, you are doing the proper cleaning of the data. Then you can use a faster or smaller LLM if appropriate. So uh, based on the use case, you should go for the LLM selection as well. Implement a caching and parallel processing. If user is asking multiple times the similar question, then instead of every time hitting to the vector store, you should use cache, so that you can answer the question without hitting to the RAG framework. Without using the RAG framework, you can directly hit to the cache and you can give that response to the user. So again, very good technique, and a lot of organizations are using it, the caching mechanism, so that it is reducing the cost as well as it is improving the performance. So this latency is again very much important, and when you will build the application, right, you will get to know that this is the major issues that we face in the production. Then there are a couple of other challenges like the scalability and system growth challenges. Obviously, whenever you are selecting the RAG framework, you make sure that the RAG framework is scalable, because in the non-production, you test the application for a couple of selective users. But when you go to the production, you may need to increase your users time by time. And whenever you are increasing the users, the load to the application increases. And that's where you start facing the scalability challenges. So that is again one of the main reason the application fails into the production. Then RAG evaluation and monitoring apps. Now you should apply some RAG evaluation techniques which can take the decision whether your retrieval quality is good or not, whether the content that it is retrieving is relevant to the user query or not. So you should add some evaluation matrices in order to make sure that the application runs smoothly in the production. Then the multi-turn conversation and context management and security and privacy compliance risk. Again, as we are building RAG applications, right? So there are chances of data leakages. So you don't want to compromise on the privacy and the policies of your company as well. So you should focus on that perspective as well. So whenever you're selecting the model, make sure that it is following the all standard security practices as per your company protocol, which is again very much important whenever you're building a production grade RAG application. So yeah, those were a couple of issues that we have seen. Those are the couple of challenges that we mainly face in the production. And based on my experience, the way I have seen the failure of RAG applications in the production. But yeah, there are ways you can improve it, and we have already discussed it. So next time, whenever you are building the RAG application, think from all these failure scenario perspective, and make sure that you are overcoming all these challenges while building the RAG application. So if you are taking these challenges into consideration while building the RAG application, definitely your RAG application will outperform in the production as well. So yeah, I hope you find this information helpful. If you like this particular video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and share it with your friends. And if you are interested in more such videos, please do let me know in the comment section. Till then, thank you so much, and see you soon in the next video. Thank you.